Hello, welcome to Glass Half Empty Reviews. I'm the pessimist, and I don't want to review this movie. No, really, I don't. It's not worth it. No one thought it would work, and it didn't. So what can I actually say about it that already hasn't been said? Well, I don't have any ideas for any other movie reviews, so I guess I'll give it a try. For starters, I've been told that this is actually based on a cartoon or whatever. That's a big red flag right there. Hollywood seems unable to adapt such things, mostly because they make unnecessary changes and diverge too much from the source material to the point it is no longer recognizable. A strategy they seem to want to cling on to, no matter how much money they lose because of it. Consistency must be important to them. So, we have a movie, directed by a horror director just above straight-to-video quality, based on a foreign cartoon show that story is too long and complicated for one feature-length movie, who stars virtual unknowns mostly. Yep. Sounds about right. Let's get into the movie now, I guess. So the plot of this movie is a high schooler comes across a notebook in which if he writes a name in it, that person will die. He uses this power to execute criminals in order to better the world. This garners the attention of the greatest detective, L, who tries to stop him. The description is much better than the movie itself. So what doesn't work? Well, none of it. But what I'll start with is the characters. All of them are inconsistent with their cartoon counterparts. Let's focus on the main three, Light, Mia, and Elle. From what my nerdy friends tell me, Light is supposed to be a psychopathic genius with a god complex. This, Mr. Turner is not. He's more like a brooding teen who doesn't actually seem smart at all. Besides the end of the movie, the only indicator of Light being intelligent is the fact that he does other people's homework, which is weak. If the argument is that this Light is supposed to be more realistic than his cartoon counterpart, then let me explain what exactly is in this movie. A magical death note that can kill anyone if they know their name and face. A death god that only the owner of the book can see, that likes apples. A detective so smart that he is permitted to work above the law. An orphanage whose primary purpose is to create the smartest detectives in the world. Yeah, makes sense. Mia is supposed to be someone called Mesa, who is so obsessed with Light that she lets him use her for his own purposes, even at the risk of her own life, as long as he stays in a relationship with her. Here, she is also a psychopath who becomes obsessed with the Death Note. There doesn't seem to be any reason for why she is this way. At least we get some sort of justification for Light, but her? Nope. She's just like that, I guess. In fact, it's lucky that she was okay with killing, because Light was very trusting with telling her he's a murderer. I guess he knew he could count on her, especially since she left him unconscious in the rain after trying to defend her from a bully. So yeah, the character and the subsequent love between them both suck. Elle is probably the best of the bunch, but still completely wrong. He's overly emotional, and his quirkiness feels forced. Different doesn't always mean bad when adapting characters, but I guess the bigger problem is that most of these characters suffer from being overly simplified, which you can pretty much say for the whole movie itself. Light wants to make a better world through immoral deeds, and Elle wants to stop him. Nothing is truly fleshed out or explored. When it comes to adaptations, it seems the studios only care about the gist of the source material. It's all they need in order to trick the fanbase into watching the movie. Little to no effort is actually put into the adapting aspect. It's about making a product as fast and as cheaply as possible, while exploiting the fanbase who will see anything related to the product. But anyways, let's continue. So yeah, the characters are wrong, and they, like the story, are oversimplified. But how did the actors do? The simple answer is not good. Besides Eli and the Green Goblin, everyone is bad and or miscast. This is what happens when there are nobodies writing for the film and starring in it. It's also very weird to see such a drastic switch in genres between the show and the movie. The show is a psychological thriller that focuses on the cat and mouse game between the two super geniuses. The movie's cat and mouse game is extremely lackluster. Elle just finds out it's him, and Light does nothing to prove otherwise. Nothing clever is done on either side to best the other. So it's not really a psychological thriller. I guess it's just a supernatural thriller then. At least until the last act of the movie, where it becomes a full-grown action film. It's supposed to be a mental conflict, not a physical one. Having Elle actually chasing Light was completely ridiculous and goes against the heart of the concept of Death Note, which is the battle of wits, conviction versus conviction. How far will the other go in order to win? No, fuck it. Just have Elle running around like an idiot with a gun in his hands. That's what the people want. So I guess you're wondering if there was anything I liked in this film. Well, not really. But there are some interesting ideas that maybe could have worked if done correctly. I'm mostly referring to the Lady Macbeth thing. They flirted with the idea that Mia was manipulating and pushing Elle to kill people, much like the character of Lady Macbeth from Macbeth. They even had Ryu doing something similar. With some tweaking, the idea of both these characters influencing the decisions of Light, with him feeling torn and guilty over his actions, would have made for at least an interesting story. But unfortunately, it is underdeveloped and unexplored. But it's something, I guess. I could go into how the movie is too fast paced, how even though they had enough material to make 2 movies, the movie is barely over an hour and a half, and how the plot takes some weird turns. But I think I'm done. So yeah, this movie isn't good. Nothing works, and no one cared if it did. It fails as an adaptation, and it fails as a movie. I give it a 3 out of 10. At the very least, there isn't any talk of any sequel. Oh. This is the part of the video where I beg for subscribers. Alright, bye.